putting together your law school application essays is about to become a whole lot more complicated. Hey, what's up everybody? Steve Schwartz here from LSAT Unplugged, joining you today to share some law school admissions trends starting this cycle. Before I get into it, a little bit about LSAT Unplugged. We offer live online classes via Zoom, on-demand video courses, small group coaching, and one-on-one coaching. Check out the links below this video to find out more and to book a call with me and my team. We'd love to help you out. So the reason I'm making this video is that a lot of law school admissions offices are changing their application requirements beginning this cycle in response to the Supreme Court's ban on race-based affirmative action. What this means is that you will no longer have your standard personal statement, diversity statement, optional essays, addenda, resume, letters of rec. Some of those will maintain as they always have, others will radically change. In particular, personal statements, diversity statements, and optional essays are all going to radically change this cycle. We've already seen this at a number of top law schools, including Harvard and Yale. You're not just going to have a straightforward personal statement and diversity statement that you can reuse for all different law schools as you've been able to in the past. Instead, schools like Harvard and Yale and many others are creating unique essay prompts specific to their school. This means you will not be able to write one personal statement and send it to every law school you apply to. You won't be able to write one diversity statement and send it to every law school that you're going to apply to. In fact, many law schools are discontinuing diversity statements altogether to avoid the perception of circumventing or ignoring the Supreme Court's ban on race-based affirmative action. So again, you won't be able to take a scattershot approach where you blast out tons of applications reusing the same essays for all different schools. Essays are also becoming less impactful beginning this cycle due to the rise of AI chatbots like ChatGPT, which are democratizing access to editing and proofreading services, meaning that schools will not be able to evaluate your writing ability as easily as they've been able to in the past. Of course, the big reason application essay prompts are changing is due to the Supreme Court's ban on affirmative action, not so much the AI, although that will play a role as well. Anyway, Harvard Law and Yale Law, among others, have changed their essay prompts this cycle. I'm going to share with you Harvard Law's new essay prompts, then I'll share Yale Law's essay prompts. So Yale Law School has eliminated the diversity statement entirely and replaced the personal statement prompt as well. You now have two different statements they're asking applicants to submit. And I'm quoting here from Harvard Law's website. Quote, every applicant must submit both a statement of purpose and a statement of perspective responding to the prompts below. Each statement must be 1 to 2 pages in length using double spacing, 1-inch margins, and a font size that is comfortable to read, parentheses, no smaller than 11 point. We expect every applicant to use at least 1 full page for each statement. Statement of purpose. What motivates you to pursue law? How does attending law school align with your ambitions, goals, and vision for your future? Statement of perspective. The admissions committee makes every effort to understand who you are as an individual and potential Harvard Law School student and graduate. Please share how your experience, background, and/or interests have shaped you and will shape your engagement in the HLS community and the legal profession. End quote. So they've gotten rid of the diversity statement. They've replaced the personal statement. The statement of purpose, what motivates you to pursue law? That sounds like a typical why law statement. In other words, why do you want to go to law school? Why do you want to become a lawyer? Pretty straightforward. That could become a general personal statement equivalent. And if you wrote that essay, you could then likely reuse that for other schools as well. There's nothing unique to Harvard Law in that statement. And of course, many law schools are going to want to hear why you want to go to law school in particular. Nothing too surprising there. Now, the statement of perspective. Perspective is their replacement for diversity. They want to hear about your experiences, background, and your interests. So experiences, background, and interests are also ways to highlight your diversity. So if you are an underrepresented minority, or you want to share something about your racial or ethnic, religious background, and so on, this would be the place to do it. They can't ask for diversity outright because they don't want to be prone to or susceptible to lawsuits from those who oppose affirmative action and want to help enforce the Supreme Court's ban on affirmative action. But you could use this statement of perspective as if it were a diversity statement. And of course, you could potentially reuse that essay for other schools as well. Of course, if you're explicitly referencing Harvard law in that statement, you're going to want to swap out that reference to Harvard law with Yale law or some other school. So that's Harvard. Now we also have Yale law changing its application as well. They have replaced the diversity statement with optional essays. They give you 4 different optional essay prompts. And of course, in my view, optional essays are never really optional. If you want to go to a top law school like Yale or Harvard or any of the other T14, you should go the extra mile and submit every essay you possibly can. Yale law here is removing the diversity statement. We have 4 different options for essays you could write instead. I'm going to read off these 4 prompts and then share some thoughts about each. Option 1, quote, "The law school has a strong tradition of public service and encourages its students to contribute to the community in a wide variety of ways. Describe a community that has been particularly meaningful to you. Discuss what you have gained from being part of this community and what you have contributed to this community." Option 2, "The law school encourages its students and alumni to be leaders, innovators, and changemakers across many different sectors. Describe one of your most important accomplishments and explain why it is important to you. Discuss how you demonstrated leadership, helped innovate, and/or drove change as part of that accomplishment." Option 3, "The law school values determination and resilience and recognizes that these traits are critical to success at the law school and in the legal profession. Describe a significant challenge, disappointment, or setback that you have faced. Discuss how you approach this experience and what you learned from it." Option 4, "In order to succeed at the law school and in the legal profession, you must be able to have discussions across difference and be open to changing your mind. Describe a time when you changed your mind on an important topic after discussing it with a person with whom you disagreed or learning additional information. Discuss what you learned from this experience." So we have 4 rather creative prompts here. Option 1, focused on public service. Option 2, focused on leadership, innovation, change making. Option 3, focused on resilience, challenges, overcoming obstacles. Option 4, discussions across difference, changing your mind, aka perhaps diversity of viewpoint. So option 1, public service, not especially surprising. In fact, Yale law stated explicitly when they withdrew their participation from the US News rankings that they were doing so in part because they didn't like how the US News rankings were handling graduates who went into public service. So Yale law showing commitment to public service here. If you want to practice law in the public interest, this would be a great place to talk about it. Option 2, leadership, innovation, change making. So if you want to go into politics, if you want to go into the world of business and be a leader there, this is the place to highlight your commitment to innovation, leadership. Perhaps if you wanted to go into entrepreneurship, startup, tech, good place to talk about that. Option 3, overcoming obstacles, facing challenges, disappointments, setbacks. If you are an underrepresented minority, if you're bringing racial diversity to the classroom, this would be a good place to talk about that if you've experienced hardship in your past. Option 4, discussions across difference, changing your mind, diversity of viewpoint. This would be yet another good place to talk about diversity, changing your mind, being exposed to folks from different backgrounds and how they have impacted you, how you've impacted others perhaps as well. Good place to talk about that. So as you can see, both Harvard Law and Yale Law, as well as many other law schools, are still committed to creating diverse classes. They still valued racial diversity, and they are still looking for applicants to describe racial diversity. They simply cannot ask for it explicitly because they do not want to be perceived as having violated the Supreme Court's ban on race-based affirmative action. But the Supreme Court did explicitly state that law schools are allowed to consider that entire context of an applicant's background the diversity that they bring to the table. So don't be afraid to share anything you feel is relevant about your background, especially if you bring something diverse to the table. Anyway, folks, I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please do me a favor, share this video with someone who needs to see it. I don't do any advertising for this channel or my other content. I'm simply sharing it to help as many folks as possible get into the best law schools possible with as much scholarship money as possible. So if you would like my help, either preparing for the LSAT or putting together your law school application essays, I'd love to support you, and there are a variety of ways I can help you out. So check out the links below this video to find out more and to book a call with me and my team. We'd love to help you out. In the meantime, I'll wish you all the best and take care.